Likkutei Torah, Drushim for Rosh Hashana, page Nun Ches. We're starting a new Maimon. We finished the other one. The pasuk says it will be on that day when Mashiach comes. You talk about Shofar, God will be blown in the big Shofar, and the lost people from the land of Assyria. And the lost people from Mitzrayim will come. And they'll come and bow Bahar HaKodesh, meaning the Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. Okay, so basically there's a Shofar Gadol and it's going to be blown, and all the people that are lost, they're going to come back because it's going to wake them up. So he says, Yesh Lahov and Masha Kotze b'Shofar Gadol. To understand what does it mean, a Shofar Gadol, big Shofar, the Ma'amal Yosef, the Shofar Gadol, what is the advantage of a big Shofar? Yaitz al Shofar Sheina Gadol. Like you said, Kamei b'Shofar Shana Shalata. It doesn't matter if you have a very big shofar, a small shofar. I mean, you have a shofar. What's the concept of shofar gadol? Like another pasuk says that Adai Havaya b'shofar yitaka will blow in a shofar, and it doesn't say shofar gadol. Okay, skip the parentheses, like 10 lines, close to 10 lines. So the Alter Rebbe is asking, what's this concept of big shofar? So he said, this is the beginning of creation, a remembrance of the first day. So Alter Rebbe asks, the pasuk contradicts itself. It says, this is the first day, and then it says a remembrance of the first day. If it's remembrance of the first day, so it's not the first day. If it's the first day, it's not a remembrance. There's a contradiction, between the beginning and the end. When the pasuk says this is the beginning of your actions, that means seemingly the beginning, the first initial day of creation. That every year in Rosh Hashana the world becomes renewed. And then it says, it's only a remembrance of the first day. To remember the first day, there was only a remembrance of the first day. So the question is it the beginning, is it not the beginning? Both are true. It's the beginning and it's a remembrance. What's the inyan of Rosh Hashana? Shenikra Rosh. It's called the head. It's not called the beginning of the year. It's called the head of the year. Rosh Hashana. Just like the head of a person. Is the source of all the limbs that it has. The general life, the Alter Rebbe says this in Tanya, general life of the neshama comes into the head first. And from the head, it goes all over the body. And then it goes to all the other limbs. It's chiyus and v'kiyum bepratis in their individual life for each particular limb. First, it was concealed potentially in the head, and then it became revealed to the rest of the body. Because the place of the nefesh hasichlis is in the head. And from there it spreads out the powers of the soul. To all the limbs, from the hidden to the revealed, that the eye could see and the feet could walk and so on. So what's the head of a body? The head of the body is the initial place where the chayus of the neshama comes into. It's all there concealed, and then from the head it goes to the entire body. So he says, Kach or Rosh Hashana, so it is Rosh Hashana, it is Reishis, Gilui, Klos, Achayis, Kol Hashana. And the day of Rosh Hashana, the whole life of the year comes down in a concealed form. And then every day of the year, it comes from the potential, from the concealed, it comes into the revealed. Because the pasuk says, you, Hashem, give lights to everything. Every day the world is renewed. The day of the life of the year from Hashem today is not the same as yesterday. Yesterday was yesterday's, today's today's. But on Rosh Hashana, it's all there in a concealed form. Therefore, in detail, the Yomim Tevim, which every year, so therefore, what's in the year? In the year, you have Yomim Tevim, when you have a greater revelation of Elokus, obviously. The weekdays are less. So where is it all included in? It's all included in the head. And then from the head, it goes to the rest of the body. The whole chayas of the entire year is Rosh Hashana, and who includes everything. That's what he brings down in the brackets, an interesting thing. Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot correspond with Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So it's Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes. Then he says, Chanukah, Purim are the two thighs. And that's on the goof. But Rosh Hashanah is the head. In other words, the three Yom Tov, the whole year, of course, is like the body of the year. So you have Rosh Hashanah is the head of the year. Then you have Pesach, which is Chesed Avram Avinu, which is the right hand, and this is the left hand, and this is the level of Sukkot. And then you have the two thighs, the rabbinic mitzvahs, the Chanukah, the rabbinic holidays, the Chanukah and Purim. So you have the whole yearly cycle in the human body, so to speak. Okay, skip the brackets all the way. Where does it end? Okay. About 10 lines to me under the column. So why is Rosh Hashanah called head? Because on Rosh Hashanah is drawn down the life and the source of life, which is above Zman Shalom, is above time and place. From above time and place, then it comes into time and place. It's interesting that it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch, but the Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch brings down about saying Tikkun Chatzos. He says it's an auspicious time. Midnight, halachic midnight is an auspicious time. Akachaynik. So it says, so that Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch asks the question, l'chayda, midnight in Israel is not when it's midnight in New York, and it's not when it's midnight here, it's not midnight in China. When is it an Eis Ratzon? Or the same thing, you have a question about Shabbos. Shabbos is a greater Kedusha than during the week, yeah? Right now in Australia, it's Shabbos. So it means in Australia, there's more Kedusha than here now, because here it's Friday morning. It's Chol. So how does it work with this whole thing? So the Alter Rebbe says, that's in Shulchan Aruch. The Alter Rebbe says, because the revelation of Kedusha is above time and place. When the place is Shabbos, then it's the Keli for that revelation which is higher than time. So in Rosh Hashanah, it's a revelation higher than time, and then it comes into Rosh Hashanah, including within it the entire year, and then the rest of the year goes out. Yom Tovim more, this Shabbos more, whatever it may be.
What does that have to do, Rabbi, with Chatzos?
No, he says wherever Chatzos is at that time, it's an auspicious moment. Chatzos in Australia is, I think, 17 hours before us. So, whatever.
Whatever you are, that's the time.
Correct. Yeah, but otherwise, think about it. If Shabbos is more Kedusha than in the world, so where is when is it Shabbos? What's the real Shabbos? So the Rebbe says, wherever you are, because it's a revelation above time and place. When you have that vessel, that's when you get it.
Can Tuesday be Shabbos?
You can make Havdalah through Tuesday.
No, can you bring down that level of Shabbos on a Tuesday?
You do. Davening, learning Torah is Shabbos, davening is Shabbos, whatever.
We should call it Shabbos.
Okay. Okay, v'chai is who Elyon Yos is a higher level. The Kerlan includes within himself Kol Chelkei Chayis Hoshana Kechad. That means in this day of Rosh Hashanah includes within it the life of the entire year. El Hashem Be'Behelim Adayin, like he said in the Moshe. And then it becomes Nimshach Mehelim Legilui. And then it becomes drawn from the hidden of Rosh Hashanah to revealed B'chol Perek K'fi Shiroi. But now the Alter Rebbe is going to say like this. And Rosh Hashanah says like this: Rosh Hashanah is the head of the year. So then it comes out the general life for the entire year, and then goes into the details. Now, every Rosh Chodesh, which is also Rosh Chodesh, is the Chayis on that day of Rosh Chodesh for the whole month. That's what he's saying. But first, the initial Chayis coming from Rosh Hashanah is divided by the 12 months, or 13 if it's a leap year. On the first day of the Chodesh, comes on the general Chayis for the entire month, and therefore it's called Rosh Chodesh, which is Chayis Kloli, L'Chodesh, which is the general life of that particular month. And that's what the Gemara says. Adam nidim b'chol yom. It's a famous contradiction. The Gemara says in one place that in Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, the parnas of the year is all established. And then it says Adam nidim b'chol yom. Another Gemara says a person is judged every day. So when is it? So he says Hagam shebe'emes Rosh Hashanah Yom Adin. Even though Rosh Hashanah we're judged. So what do you mean we're judged every day? We discussed in the class, by the way. And Rosh Hashanah we're judged, do I get the general lifeline for the year? Then it comes into the days. Or as we explained, to put it into our language. And Rosh Hashanah, it's decided how much money you're going to make in the year. Like $1 million you're going to make in the year. That's Rosh Hashanah. It says, okay, you're going to get $1 million this year. But now the question is, the $1 million could be spent on leaky roofs, or broken cars, or, you could spend the money, or doctor bills, God forbid, or the money could come down that you can go to vacation the whole year. You know what I mean? So, it's not a contradiction. Rosh Hashanah, it's destined you're going to get the Chayis Klodi. You're going to get $1 million for the year. How the money is spent, that's decided every day based on your behavior.
That means you didn't make $1 million.
You did. The question where it went. You and the IRS, you got $1 million.
I'm not going to.
I know. Talking about honest people.
No, if you're spending it for different things.
That doesn't mean you didn't earn it. You earned $1 million, but then you're ending up, instead of using it for good things, you're using it for broken things. Well, it's very simple. Just because you spend it on medical bills or leaky roofs doesn't mean that you didn't earn the money.
It's gross and net.
Inyan ki hine b'Rosh Hashanah hu adin u'mishpach ha'lecher ha'chayis kol ma'am sh'charei sh'ragel chayis ba'af o'bikein yesh gam ki mishpach b'chol yom sakikalim imroi liyis le'yishtaushid mechayis ha'klol l'chayis proti. Then, and every day we judge, should this life, like we said before, should it go down for leaky roofs, or should it go down to do good things? I told you the story, I mentioned it a few times already. The Blazer Nanis died when he was over 100. He wrote a book, Sabato. But when he first came to America, when he got out of Russia, he came to America and he had a problem with his foot. It's the way a Hasidic Jew looks at things. So he didn't have insurance. He came from Russia, straight to Israel to America. He didn't have anything. And he had a problem with his foot. So he went to a doctor in Manhattan, a specialist. He didn't have insurance. So the doctor charged him a lot of money. So he was thinking to himself like this: should I argue with the doctor, ask him to discount? And then he said, no, I'm not doing it. Why? He said like this: and Rosh Hashanah is destined how much money I have to spend on medical bills. So if I go bargain now, If it was necessary to spend $10,000 in doctor bills and I bargain with him now for $5,000, all that means is I'm going to have to go again. He said, let me give him the $10,000, whatever it was. Let me give him the $10,000 and he won't have to go again to the doctor. That's a Torah perspective, how to look at things. Okay. Shiyum shemel the yeshiv kandidim b'Rosh Hashana. B'amshacha chayis klali, because even though Rosh Hashana, it was already destined how much chayis klali you're going to have. In a efshe shliyum shemechayis klali. Still, it might not come down from the chayis klali ela gilu befrat to the detail. And that's like you said, it might come down the wrong way, for whatever. Just like it's possible that the chayis comes into the head, but for whatever reason it is, the chayis from the head doesn't go to the eye, because something's wrong with the eye, or the foot, or the whatever. I still might not be able to, that doesn't mean the brain doesn't have the chayis klali. It has a chayis klali. But the way it's going from the cloud to the prat, from the general to the detail, that might not function. It's possible the chayis prati should stay in the chayis klali of Rosh Hashana, and then you'll get it chesed be'adam. You only get it up there, and the same thing b'chol yom. But he said, what?
Affect klali or prati or both?
Both.
First prati.
Friedrich Rebbe says, there's something at Simchas Torah called hakafis. Now, why is it called hakafis? Because hakafah means makif. You go around. You dance in Rosh Hashana, you go around the bin. That's why it's called hakafis simply. But the Friedrich Rebbe says, in Pigavus says, achem bani makif, means he gives them credit. Hakafah in halacha means he gives them credit. He says, why is it called hakafis? Because at hakafis, Hashem gives you on credit. The storekeeper goes to the wholesaler, and he gives him on credit because he didn't sell it yet. Correct? You didn't pay for it. He trusts you. He gives you on credit, so to speak. And Simchas Torah by hakafis, the Friedrich Rebbe says, Hashem trusts us. He gives them credit. A lot of good things for the year. Then he sees what happens. If you pay it, you don't pay it. You make a profit, you don't make a profit. So Torah mitzvahs could change everything. Like tzedakah could change the gzeira, tilim, whatever. Changing a name could change the gzeira, God forbid, if somebody's very sick. So Torah mitzvah could change it. Or at least can definitely change the way it comes down from the kloli to the prati. That's for sure, because now you have a vessel, you have a different vessel, so now you can get it more. If you don't have, the Moshe he gives of a head is, if the head gets the chayis klali from the neshama, right, then he gives it into the details. But sometimes the eye still can't see, right? So where does the chayis klali of the neshama go? The eyesight, it still stays in the head. It can't come down because there's no eye to be the vessel for it, right? So he says, over here he says the expression, it stays up there for the next world. This concept is simple enough that we don't have to go crazy trying to figure out that we don't figure it out.
So nothing gets wasted.
Nothing gets wasted. Hashem doesn't waste anything. In Pirkei Avos it says, "Leibara Kadosh Baruch Hu davar echad b'olam levatala." Hashem didn't create one thing. That's not in Pirkei Avos. Hashem did not create one davar echad. Davar echad means one thing. When Torah says one, it's not like everybody else. One means a half. One, Hashem did not create. That means Hashem did not create one blade of grass. He didn't create one drop of water for nothing. So Hashem doesn't waste anything. We waste. The biggest commodity that Hashem gave us is time. And we all waste it. So they asked a great chacham, a great scholar, how long did it take you to become a Talmud Chacham? He said 5 minutes. He said 5 minutes? He said, yeah, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It adds up. They tell us a guy, not a Chassidish guy, a Litvish guy, next to his phone, he had a Mishnah Berurah, and he says, just waiting online, throughout an X amount of time, he learned the whole Mishnah Berurah, the whole Shulchan Aruch, like, just waiting online for somebody to cut onto the line. If you figure, make a cheshbon. Do you know it says, I read a statistics one, how long we wait in line. Line could be traffic, it could be wherever. Yeah? We waste hours a day online. Whatever, it's a broad term, online, but so that you can imagine how much time you could utilize that. If somebody learns 4 hours a day, can you imagine how much you can learn?
Because in New York, you always had a Gemara in the step table. Anytime we mention between the customers.
I saw those guys in New York also. No, I mean, that's so you're asking, is anything wasted? Nothing's wasted. We waste. That's why there's a halacha, to waste anything. Because Hashem created it for a purpose. If you waste it, then that thing is not accomplishing its purpose because of you. Because of me, I mean you. Because of us.
What is Hashem created a person could not have a child?
Because their mission in life is not to have a child.
But then the sperm gets wasted.
It's not wasted because it creates spiritual. It's halach also, but it's more kabbalistically. Older people or a woman that's pregnant already or all those things. So why isn't that wasting sperm? So the answer is because it creates spiritual creations. So you're not wasting, it's creating ruchniistic things. There's a whole famous story with the Baal Shem Tov. There was a couple who didn't have children, and they came to the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov took them to a city, and there were a lot of kids there, and the Baal Shem Tov asked in front of this couple, what's your name? And all the kids had the same name. The boys all had the same name, the girls had all the same name, sometimes a little variation, but basically everybody had the same name. So the Baal Shem Tov went with this couple. He went to an older couple in the city, old man, and he asked them, why all the kids have the same name? So he explained, many years ago there was a childless couple who decided to give a lot of money, whatever they had, for children to learn Torah. It was a Yiddish city, a shtetl, to give it to learn Torah and to do things, and therefore everybody named their kids after them. So Hashem basically alluded to this family, it's not destined to have children. So they did the same thing, so that's, the Gemara says whoever teaches is Ben Chaver Torah. If you teach somebody Torah, say you gave birth to him. The Gemara says if you raise an orphan, say you gave birth to them. I mean, there's, things that you could do. There's a purpose within that story. Okay, the Rebbe didn't have any physical children. Do you know how many children the Rebbe had? Not only spiritual, I'm saying even physically. How many people couldn't have children, and the Rebbe gave them bracha and they had children? Whose child is that? Who brought that child into the world? Yeah, obviously the parents, but they couldn't have children. The Rebbe's bracha, or how many people, became close to Yiddishkeit. So the Rebbe had millions and millions of children throughout the generations. So that's, that's the mission. So I think the kid once came to the Rebbitzon's house. He was an innocent kid, he didn't know anything. He says to the Rebbitzon, Chai Mushka, where are your children? So she answered, my children are in 770. That's what the Rebbe answered. My children are in 770. What does she mean? That's the children.
Beautiful answer.
It's a true answer. And if it's true, it's beautiful. If it's fake, it's not beautiful. It's ugly. Right? Okay, let's go weiter. Okay, so he says, Ava Rosh Hashanah, and Rosh Chayis Kol Choshav Amshach, is Chayis Chodesh Mamish. It comes on a brand new Chayis, like the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe asked the question, here is a contradiction. How do we say Zayim Tchilas Masecha, that today Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of creation, when it's the 6th day of creation? He said because it's the beginning of creation, because and Rosh Hashanah is the Hamshacha of the Chayis for the whole year, of the life of the whole year. Because last year's Rosh Hashanah, again, Rosh Hashanah reveals a life higher than time and place. But last year's Rosh Hashanah, the Chayis that came down, Tavshin Pei Gimel, ends out of Rosh Hashanah, Tavshin Pei Dalet. So now in Rosh Hashanah, it has to come down a new Chayis that never existed before. And not only is it a new Chayis, Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, it's greater than the year before. Every year comes down a new revelation of Elokus that never existed before. It's a life higher than time, a Chayis higher than time and place, coming into time and place. There's an expression, time made timeless. Make time timeless by bringing down the Hamshach of Elokus higher than.